Yo, what's good, everyone? Joey J. Ping here, checking in live, man. RespectMyRegion.com, coming at you guys live from another episode. Actually, that's not true. This is the very first episode, the inaugural episode, the debut episode of the new Jersey Cannabis Podcast. You guys, we've got a very special guest today. We've got Danielle Wildstein, CEO, founder, Blue Oak Dispensary, Bloomfield, New Jersey. Good morning. How you living today, Danielle?
Good morning. I'm great. Thanks so much for having me.
I really appreciate you taking the time to be with us here today. For those of you guys watching, our journey brought to you guys by Seedless Media. This is the premier cannabis marketing agency for retailers and brands in the space. Danielle, we're not going to start off with a boring conversation about marketing. We're going to dive in to the fact that you've got a very interesting background in cannabis, pharmacy, operations management, people skills. Cannabis people were hiding for a long time, but you specialize in operations and managing people, building relationships and things like that. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. We're going to talk about your dispensary, the fact that you're a woman-owned, operated dispensary in Bloomfield. I'm told there's 2 of those in Bloomfield, which is very exciting. Super rare for a city or a small town to have that kind of situation, and so we want to give props to the city there. And we're going to talk a little bit about some of the cannabis there in New Jersey. How does that sound?
Sounds awesome. I'm excited.
Let's go. It's the morning, you guys. We're here. I'm in Los Angeles. We're on a continent situation here, country, state to state, man. West Coast, East Coast collab. Danielle, talk to me. You worked in big pharmacy for a number of years. You worked with some of the largest companies in the world. I saw on the list Johnson & Johnson, among other massive companies. Can you talk a little bit about what you did in big pharmacy? And while you kind of summarize that, talk to us a little bit about how that translated directly into cannabis for you.
Sure. I got very lucky when I graduated college. I was given what I thought was my dream job, but I'm living my dream job now. I worked for a management consulting firm, and I got staffed in the pharmaceutical industry. And I got to work on really cool projects, mergers and acquisitions, new sales launches, R&D projects within big pharma. So it was, you had mentioned J&J, Amgen, AstraZeneca. It was Astra Pharmaceuticals, and they merged with Zeneca. So I got to see all aspects of pharma, which was really fun. I got to see the interaction with the doctors and the sales reps, all the way from internal and what the scientists are doing when they're gearing up to launch through clinical trials. So for me, my focus was always really on the people side. So human performance.
That's huge.
And helping people be better at their jobs.
So I find that all to be incredibly applicable to cannabis, right? And what's funny is I want to help dispel this stigma of big pharmacy, right? Like for so many years, my parents, I had to get what is it? When you go to college or you go to a public school, you got to get poked and prodded with the vaccinations, right? Whatever it is.
Yes.
There's so much science that goes into a lot of this, but we just look at it like the government's forcing things on people, right? It doesn't matter if it's COVID, it doesn't matter if it's school things, whatever it is. We as humans, we have this general perception about pharmacy, about big pharma. And a lot of it stems from media. And so here we are today. I'm a member of the media. You worked in big pharma. Now you work in cannabis. What are your thoughts on how your experience truly brings value to this cannabis space? And I want to peel back a layer of it from an operational standpoint. How does your experience from those big, huge companies serving so many, thousands and hundreds and millions of people, how does that really translate directly into cannabis?
For me, working in a highly regulated industry such as pharma was huge to understand. Not just seeing the price point, right? When you go into a pharmacy, you're talking to your doctor and they're prescribing something for your health and wellness, and understanding that it's covered or not covered by insurance, right? I got to see the inside, from the inside out. And so that has really been exceptionally important for me to understand how cannabis works and understanding
how people think and how, like, why they decide to do this versus that in that world, right?
Definitely. Understanding where it comes from, how is the product come to be? What are the stages to get through it? What are the testing, the quality controls? How does it get out to the end consumer? And what is it that you're taking it for? And for me, the big difference between cannabis and pharmaceuticals is, with cannabis, it's natural. We know the plant that it comes from. But It's really self-guided with cannabis. And definitely getting guidance from your healthcare team, your medical professionals, as you need it, depending on what other ailments you have or what you're treating for. But it's really something that you completely control with cannabis. You
Yeah.
can choose the category. You
At
can
least
choose
in the current state of how
in the current
the whole
state.
thing is set up, right? And
Yes.
and we're not like just talking this current. We're talking this current era, right? Because it's like you've got this traditional, this legacy, this illegality part of this culture. Then you have a small window where it's been medically legal in some long, California, Michigan, some of the longer places for medical, right? And now you've got adult use since like what 16, 17 in some of these places, 2021, 2022 for some of them. You've got a dispensary that you recently opened. How long has it been open? Blue Oak there in Bloomfield?
Yesterday we just celebrated our 6 month. So
Woo!
our half birthday. So we opened February 25th.
Nice. That's so awesome. Congratulations on that too. I know it takes so long to build things out, to get licensed, to get the license, to get licensed, to then build it out, to then watch it come to life and start to plan and prep that. Obviously women owned, women operated. Do you feel that the city was supportive, receptive to all that kind of stuff? Did they do anything extra to kind of help you guys out? And what was that experience like bringing the dispensary to life?
Bloomfield was exceptionally supportive. I'm extremely lucky that I was able to open in my first choice town. They were exceptionally supportive, not just of cannabis, but as me as a woman, bringing forward a smaller boutique cannabis dispensary. But I also had a lot of women leaders within Bloomfield surrounding me and supporting me. And again, it just made the journey that much better for myself.
That's amazing. Shout out this when the cities actually choose to support and get behind a group, because they tend to be a little selective across the country or whatever it is. People are people. It's a human thing, right? And they probably gravitate towards energy. I feel the passion in the way that you can hold yourself and the conviction behind your voice of the passion that you have for helping people, right? The relationship building element of it, the human part of this. It's not just customers. These are not just numbers walking in, right? Talk to me about building out your dispensary. It's labeled online. I went through the website. It's boutique.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely has a certain vibe, a certain curation, a certain feel, and I'll even use the word elegance to it as well.
Well, I had a lot of thoughts when I was thinking about applying for a license. Not just the name, but not just the location. It was what was it going to look like, but more importantly, what was it going to feel like, and how do you create a space, a physical space around a feeling, right? And I thought about myself in my own cannabis journey. It started in college, and it wasn't the best, in college. Yes, not. I mean, I didn't have anyone guiding me at all. I didn't know what I was smoking. I didn't know what I was doing. It was only flower, bongs, rolling your own joints. I was so naive. I was so green and not a good sense. And so I tried it, and then I went to, my craft cocktails when I graduated college. And then I came back to cannabis when the category started expanding, when we started getting more information about what it is that we were using. And I thought about myself as a woman, and I went around the country to the different legal dispensaries, only adult use. I've never been on the medical side myself in holding a medical card, but started out in California, did a lot of work out there professionally. And so would walk into dispensaries and learned about edibles and learned about, what I could use, but it was my own self-discovery. It wasn't necessarily someone educating me. And I also found that when I became a mother, it shifted. It was a little shifted when I went in as a woman. I did not feel very comfortable walking into some dispensaries. I didn't necessarily feel safe. It was my own insecurities. Maybe it was that feeling that I was missing. But as a mom too, the judgment that I felt, the looks that I got, the comments that I got, and I thought, why? This is crazy. This is legal. I'm not doing anything bad. I'm not harming anyone. I'm not harming myself. And so I thought about my experience. Now, it wasn't all bad, all the dispensaries I went in. There were some that I definitely modeled parts of Blue Oak after. And it was really around being inclusive and welcoming to all, especially to women and especially to moms. And having people walk into Blue Oak, walking into our waiting area, and having them feel a sense of calm. not even before they even use the product, right? The elements of, kind of of nature, the color palettes, the feeling, the music that's playing, and immediately they're disarmed. They feel welcome. They feel supported. Then you walk into our sales area, and I have staff I only hired from within the industry, from the cannabis industry.
Mm-hmm.
All of my staff were in the medical industry. When they converted to adult use, I hired them. And so they're extremely knowledgeable, expert. They're all consumers, but they are all educators as well. And so having your ability to come in and ask any question you want and not feel like it's a stupid question was really important to me. So the feeling was really what sparked the design of Blue Oak.
I think when people put this intentionality behind all of these different details, it's hard to miss unless you've got bad taste, right? Unless you're just kind of tacky, or maybe there's money issues, or there's so many different variables that go into building out a business, let alone just a retail space, right? But like, I get the sense that you did your research, you really care, you're quite, if not super knowledgeable about all of these different things. And it sounds like you've been using cannabis for a while. So you definitely a version of the culture, right? Someone
Definitely.
who consumes, experiments, tried it. And this leads me to my next part, right? So we're on the North American Weed Tour. This is the New Jersey Cannabis Podcast, right? I'm interested in what is the best in New Jersey. Now that is so subjective, right? The best to somebody. And so when I go to dispensaries, when I call up a delivery service, wherever it is that has delivery, because my home doesn't, Cali does, but Washington doesn't. I always ask, what do you think's the best? And so in your eyes, when you think of the best in New Jersey, you own the dispensary, you sat in on some of these meetings with some of your partners, and maybe you visited the grows or the different kitchens that exist. Who really stands out from the Jersey cannabis brand and product standpoint?
Well, being in New Jersey and having some MSO grows behind, as well as independents, what's nice is you have a diversity of product and brands to choose from. Mm-hmm. And for me, as a dispensary owner, obviously I wanted recognizable brands to start. And those were the MSOs because they needed time for the independent growers to come on. But I get very excited, very passionate about New Jersey independent growers that are coming online, and especially micro growers. And so for me, and looking at it from a business standpoint, it's those brands that can support us in helping get their products sold, right? Yeah. They have marketing collateral. They do pop-ups. They do collaborations with us. That's really key. And we feel very lucky. We have a very wide menu across all categories. And it seems like weekly we're adding in new brands, which is so exciting. And looking at what the testing comes out as, what the THC content, we get samples, so we get to try them before our customers do, so we can talk about, the feeling that you get. And I think the market has shifted so much, and I'm excited to be in New Jersey because we have all categories, and we are expanding, even with topicals. We're expanding, and we're getting people to understand that cannabis is not just about high THC anymore, right? Just smoking and getting stoned and having fun. You use it for fun. You can use it socially, but at Blue Oak, we also talk about the health and wellness piece of it. And that was for me. I've used cannabis very differently since my college years. I still use it for fun. I love it when I'm out with friends or just even hanging out with my husband. But
so does that mean when I'm out there in New Jersey, you and I are going to take a fat bong rip or what?
We are going to have a good time. I can tell you, I love it. I love that it's really the only medicine, if you will, because cannabis is a medicine. You can use it in different ways, and you can cross categories. And what I was saying earlier is you're in control of that. You don't have to wait for a doctor to tell you, or a pharmacy to dispense it, right? You can go in, you can do your own research. You can ask questions in a licensed dispensary. You can also consult, like I mentioned earlier, a healthcare team, but you can experiment and have fun with it. And it's so empowering to be able to, change your edible dosing, take a different hit, use a different strain, and knowing, you're going to be better for it. So
it sounds to me like not only is there, it's obviously like, the cannabis industry, we're a fairly judgment-free zone when we're in dispensaries, when we're in the workplace, when we're at the grows, when we're online, I'd say most of the events as well. Sounds like your guys' place is leading that by example in that regard. It also too sounds that education is also at the paramount or the forefront for stuff that you care about in your priorities. And I would assume that extends into the retail experience from your staff, right? You mentioned that you're hiring from, in the industry experienced, you got the location of choice, but in the city you wanted, right? I'm interested in tapping in and understanding your guys' local neighborhood and the city and what Bloomfield is like, right? I'm told that this is that you guys are involved in different golfing events. And I also read that you guys have participated with various small businesses ranging from like women's clothing to art to different kinds of, I think I saw food pop-ups, forgive me if that's incorrect,
yes.
but just a variety of stuff that really shows that you guys are either one already super tapped in with the community or like you're really trying to share the platform with the local community. Can you touch on that and elaborate there for me, please?
Sure. Again, at the end of the day, cannabis is a medicine, but you don't have to take it when you're sick. So it's important to tell people what they're putting in their bodies, right? And how they're using it. And also for me, aside from trying to be a leader in education with Blue Oak, we wanted to be a community partner. So it's really important that those living in Bloomfield and the surrounding towns knew what Blue Oak was all about, right? What we were trying to do. We were trying to uphold the safety standards, the regulations that adult use cannabis is legal for in New Jersey, and make sure that those who are of legal age, 21 and older, are the only ones who have access to it at Blue Oak. So it was important for me to make sure my neighbors, the residents or other business owners knew we were there and what we were trying to do and to promote each other. That's what small businesses need to do. I don't know that there is enough of that being done. That's what I wanted to do. I also wanted to highlight cannabis as a lifestyle. That's another thing that's important. This wave of understanding that you don't just, use it socially, right? You can use it during the day. You can use it. It can help you do your job.
In some neighborhoods and places, there's not really much social to go do. And sometimes just by the environment, right, it becomes a much more personal, we'll call it solo experience versus like, even LA and New York, there's nightlife here and there's cannabis nightlife here, right? And so it's significantly different when you're out in the suburbs, like, is that an accurate statement for your guys' area? Bloomfield, is that suburb New Jersey?
Yes, outside New York City.
Moms, soccer moms, dads, all that kind of stuff out there.
Young professionals, commuters going into New York City. You have seniors. You have it all, and that's what I love so much about Bloomfield is everyone can be a cannabis user. You can use it during the day to help you have energy, be focused. You can use it at night to chill out. I do it. I use cannabis throughout the day to help me be a better mom, be a better woman, to be more focused at work. And so it's having that, again, that social piece, but that fun party aspect of cannabis that's still there, but you can use it for overall wellness and healthy living, right? So absolutely. We do pop-ups with yoga studios. We've done collaborations. So understanding how you can deepen your practice with using cannabis. We are a sponsor at the Bloomfield PBA golf tournament that's happening tomorrow. The Bloomfield Fire Department is also doing one in September. We're going to be a host there. Talk about how can you use cannabis in ways that you didn't think you could. It's different than, taking a flask out on the golf course, right? It's, you can use it and you can microdose and you can have different effects from it. We also collaborate with the different eateries around us. So fun events we did for 420, different food events. And we're doing another one for celebrating the end of summer and, bringing a DJ in and food. But we also partner with other women-owned brands. We have pop-ups to try to get women to see that a cannabis dispensary isn't a scary place to walk into, right? Yeah. It isn't just about walking in because you want to get high, right? And and dispelling those myths for women and particularly in moms, that you can use cannabis and, you can still function, right? If you want to get high and get stoned, which is really fun, you can absolutely use it that way as well. But it's different. It's a changing market. It's emerging. And that's what I love so much about New Jersey is we've learned a lot from the West, and we're blazing our own trail. And that's what I want to do as a woman within cannabis. So again, breaking those barriers, taking those hurdles down so that people can use comfortably. You can use it as publicly or as privately as you want. And I just want people to talk about it. Just start with the conversation.
We're just here to make awareness. We're just here to create awareness. Cannabis can be used in so many ways, you guys. Man, this is a great episode, y'all. Let me go ahead and do some shout outs real quick. Y'all, we're here. If you guys are watching, we're here with Danielle Wildstein, CEO, founder, Blue Oak Dispensary, Bloomfield, New Jersey. This is the New Jersey Cannabis Podcast powered by Seedless Media, brought to you guys by Respect My Region. I'm Jay Ping, man. We're here, North American Weed Tour. We're getting our education on. This is all about discovery. We're helping you guys in New Jersey or in New York, New Jersey area discover a quality dispensary, woman-owned, woman-operated, real science, real data, real strategy, backed by decades of experience. You guys tap in. It's worth checking out. And to all you moms, shout out my mom, man. Shout out my grandma. They've been so supportive of me. Shout out my other grandma, R.I.P. Oma. They were all so supportive of cannabis since they started realizing how it can help people. Danielle, what do you feel is the top 2 most important things people should know about cannabis that they don't? General people, not cannabis people. What does the general population, what are 2 things that the general population doesn't know that they absolutely need to know about weed?
You can use it in your everyday life. You can use it throughout the day. You don't have to use cannabis just to get high. And I think that's the misconception. And anybody can use it, from seniors down to those 21 and older.
Topicals do not go in the bloodstream.
Topicals do not go in the bloodstream. So use that for localized pain, but also take an edible or take a hit of a joint or from bong or a vape to help you with systemic pain. The main reasons why people come into a dispensary, aside from, wanting, the social aspects, looking for a product, is yes, trouble sleeping, pain, and anxiety and stress. And cannabis can help with those. And you can microdose. With edibles, we always say start low, go slow. And you can use cannabis through different categories, whether it's flower, whether it's edibles, whether it's tinctures, whether it's topicals. It's really not just to get stoned, to get high. And that's something that I talk to a lot of women about and a lot of moms, that it's no different than having a craft cocktail at a bar, right? You don't drink alcohol to just get wasted, right? And I'm careful with making the parallels between cannabis and alcohol because they are very different. Cannabis is a medicine and it can help heal. It can help have you function better in life. But yes, it has the social aspect of it. And so that's really important for me when I'm talking to people is, just try it. And how you try it is you start with a conversation, learn about it. But yes, the topicals are huge because we talk about active lifestyle. And, I'm 47 years old. I've got 3 children. I had my last baby at 42. And my body feels a little differently in the mornings when I wake up. You got a little bit more aches and pains. And so I use topicals all the time. Edibles, that can help me get throughout the day. Smoking, you choose and change it up. Try different strains.
I say that cannabis is like solution based or scenario based often. People always kind of look at me like I'm crazy. I got to figure out a different way to get that communicated. But there's certain situations or scenarios where cannabis really just makes more sense versus the other solutions that are presented to us from the regular world, whether it's CVS Pharmacy, Rite Aid, Bartell's, other drugstores that are on the East Coast or in the Midwest, wherever it is, have you. And topicals are great. Skincare is important in general for being a good, healthy human. Right. So is hydration. So smoking tobacco products is not encouraged, period. Right? So it's like there's certain elements where weed maybe isn't the healthiest, and then just like high sugary products, right? And then there's some situations where, like I said, it's probably the best, safest, or makes the most sense. And this is where some of those products that I want to touch on, creating awareness for some of these. Topicals, great.
Mhm.
Sunburn, healthcare, dermatology things, great for getting rid of certain rashes. Also, weed makes people's skin worse sometimes because of the oiliness. I've seen it go both ways from an acne perspective, right? And this is where just the conversation around that has to happen. Then you got beverages. Beverages exist. You've got the sugary sodas all the way down to the sugar-free seltzers, right? You really kind of get the lemonades and the syrups, all the way to these fruit juices that are sparkling and mocktail. And I've had some wine-like stuff, right? There's so many different things out there, you guys. And so, as Danielle was saying, there's so many different types of products now. Hit a joint, rip a bong, edibles, gummies, not great for the teeth, but now there's pectin and vegetarian vegan chews.
Gluten free.
Yeah,
There's chocolate. There's healthier options too. So
yeah, there's so much. So
yes.
I really appreciate you being on the episode here today and sharing your perspective. Big shout out to all the people that were watching this. Danielle, what do you guys have coming up that the people should know about? What's going down coming down the pipeline for Blue Oak that the people should get involved with, should know about?
So we have a lot of information on our website, education, but we are going to be doing a lot of different sponsorships within Bloomfield and the surrounding community. I mentioned the 2 golf tournaments that we're going to be sponsoring, the Montclair Film Festival that's coming up. There's a Harvest Festival coming up in Bloomfield. A lot of great stuff, and really, come check out my dispensary, please. Yeah. When you're in New Jersey, and you'll see, for me, cannabis is a spectrum, right? It's a spectrum of, what you're using it for, but the products, there's a spectrum of products as well, and THC and non-THC products, right? Because, that's another big misconception, is that cannabis is just THC, and it's not. There's the other cannabinoids that I could spend 2 hours talking to you about that, right? CBD.
We'll bring you back on for another episode in the future. Shout out to OPR for setting for the alley-oop here today. We'll definitely dive more in, because New Jersey wants to know more about that, right? And if you're able to speak on that, I'd love to, right? We've got THCV, THCVA, you've got CBG, CBGA, CBN. There's all this. There's sleep. There's focus. There's appetite suppressant. There's just, and then we could talk terps, right? And then so there's so many different elements that go into this, from the cannabinoids to the terpenes. I would love to chat with you about all that and how you guys are educating and empowering the Bloomfield community to make better decisions that way. I think that's super huge, and we can let these other people know what's going down too.
Definitely the real deal. And so when you come to Jersey, please stop by. Blue Oak, 1025 Broad Street in Bloomfield. We're open 7 days a week. BlueOakNJ.com, or on Instagram at BlueOakNJ. Please check us out. Reach out to me directly if you have any questions. I'm very connected, and I talk to customers all the time. They have my email, they have my cell phone, they can text me. My staff's excellent. So, and I know that, this is new in New Jersey. And so that education piece doesn't have to go away because we're adult use, right? It's a new way of connecting with customers. So please, when you're out in New Jersey, stop by and see me.
Come on, man. One of New Jersey's finest, an up-and-comer in the community, a leader in the industry. We got Danielle Wildstein, CEO, founder, Blue Oak Dispensary, Bloomfield, New Jersey. We'll be out there hopefully soon. North American Weed Tour hits New Jersey. Oh, shoot, we got a bug attacking me. Sorry, y'all. This is crazy. It's a real one out here in these LA streets, man. We'll definitely be tapping in. North American Weed Tour hits New Jersey. What is it? September 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. So we'll try to stop by, try to work you in. For those of you guys watching, I appreciate y'all. This episode of the New Jersey Cannabis Podcast was brought to you guys by Seedless Media, cannabis industry's premier marketing agency for retail and brands. Make sure you guys tap in, check them out. Seedless Media on Google. Danielle, thank you for being here. Appreciate you so much. You guys for watching. Love you all. We'll see you on the next episode. North American Weed Tour, J. Ping.